Hey everyone, Hassan here. Welcome to the world of Ha. Today, I have another Power Rangers review for you. We are back, finally, with Lightning Collection reviews. That's right, I know I am very behind, because right in front of me I have Lightning Collection Wave 7, which came out, around December 2020, maybe even a bit earlier, and it's now August 2021. Wave 9 is already out, so I am very behind, so I apologize for that. Lots has happened in that time frame. Pretty much since then, I had a son born in November last year, so that's pretty much been busy with him and all sorts of other things. But enough excuses. We're back at it with Lightning Collection. So over the next few days, I'm going to be catching up on Lightning Collection reviews. So get ready. It is actually Power Month. So in honor of Power Month as well for Power Rangers, we're going to be celebrating by catching up on Lightning Collection. So here we are, Wave 7. This is an interesting wave because there's actually only 3 figures instead of 4, like there usually are in a wave. I don't really know the reason why. I don't really remember if there was a reason why. It's been a while, like I said. But we have these 3 figures right here. We have the Mighty Morphin Z Putty, the Dino Thunder Red Ranger, and the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. So first, let's take a look at the packaging, because the packaging for these figures, as always, is great. So you got some awesome artwork right here, of course, which looks really cool. Here is the Z Putty. And this was one of those ones that, like, we knew was going to happen. When they released a bunch of Putty figures, it was like, alright, they're just going to slap the Z thing on the top and then call it a day, and there you go, you got your Z Putty. So if you want to army build with Z Putties, you have this individual figure release. So we'll check this out. We'll do a comparison with the regular Putties as well. Check out that artwork, pretty sweet. But what I do appreciate is the cool blast effect that they have that goes over the chest there. So if you want to, pose like as if you're like blasting the Z in the middle and he's like exploding or something, you can do that, which is really cool. So that is the Z Putty. And then we have Dino Thunder right here. We got Connor the Red Ranger. Super cool. I actually did a rewatch of Dino Thunder a few months back. Watched it for the first time with my wife, actually. Well, I mean, I had seen it before, but it was her first time watching. And so that was a fun experience. And so here we have the Red Ranger right there. I'm very happy. He does come with the Tyranno Staff. It's kind of hidden back there, but he does come with that. And there's the artwork, which looks pretty cool. We'll talk about a couple things. I will say one thing about this figure, though, that's a little disappointing is there's a silver border on the helmet when it should be kind of a white border. So it just looks a little odd, in my opinion, the helmet, but I feel like that's par for the course of Lightning Collection. There's so many amazing things that these figures have, such great detail, great accessories, and there's always like 1 or 2 small little paint applications that are wrong or screwed up, and that just kind of ruins things. So that's unfortunate, but we'll talk about that. But even so, I mean, look at that image. That looks so cool with the Tyranno Staff. And everything. You have the, what is that, Thundermax Saber, I believe it's called, with the flame effect. Like, that is sick. Now, granted, he has the white border around it, so it looks normal there, and it's not going to look as nice here, but we'll talk about that. But really cool. And then, of course, you gotta have Tommy, because you can't have too much Tommy, of course. So we have our Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. Check out the artwork right there. What I appreciate about this, though, is that this is the actual regular Green Ranger. We do have a Green Ranger figure already. However, it was the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger. So now we actually have the regular one, so I appreciate the fact that they did differentiate that, and we got a different civilian head for Tommy there, which looks pretty cool. So I am actually excited to finally have a regular Green Ranger in the set. And there he is right there. Check that out. Super cool. So, without further ado, let's get these open and take a look. All right, I got them out of the packaging. Here they are. So let's get right to it. Why don't we start, let's just go left to right. Let's start with the Z Putty here. So we'll move these guys out of the way a little bit. Here is the Mighty Morphin Z Putty. So real quick, we'll bring in the other putties. So basically we've had multiple versions of the putties release, which are pretty much the same, slightly different, you know, arm pieces you can swap in and out, that sort of thing, except the chest piece, they have different variations on the design there, as you can see, right? Now with this, it looks like, you know, they took some of the same molding, however, they've done a couple things. They've tinted it a little bit of a darker gray overall on the body, as you can see. The face part as well is a much darker gray. The chest piece, they've taken off the black stripes, so it's just a plain body, and then they put the Z shield on top of that. Even the little arms are a slightly darker gray, and then you have the Z's on the knees there, and the boots are different as well. Now, I'll be honest, I never paid like that close attention to the putty design to know, oh, and I guess I should say the belt is not on the Z putties. I don't know if this is show accurate or not. Like, I feel like I kind of remember these guys, and I know the Z putties have the Z shield, but I don't remember like the knees. I don't remember if they're a darker shade of gray or whatever. So I'm not quite sure how accurate or not this is. I feel like the face part, that does look right to me. I think I do remember that being a darker gray, but I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments section below. Are the changes actually accurate? Did the Z putties, did they actually have that many changes compared to the original putties in the show? I'm kind of curious. Or are these changes, the gray color and stuff, are these like fixes where this original putty should have had, you know, that shade of gray and the darker gray face, that sort of thing? And maybe, you know, since this is a later release, they're fixing it in this release. I don't know. But interesting nonetheless. So you have that here, and so he comes with a couple of different arms. So you have the right one with the right hand kind of open to be able to hold something, and then you have one with the fist closed, and then the left hand is an like a you know, fingers out kind of grabby pose, but then you have a left hand that matches the right hand, more enclosed, but can kind of hold something. Not really sure what, because he doesn't come with anything to hold, but it is what it is. So as far as accessories, let's take a look at those real quick. You do get this piece right here, which is like this little flame effect that goes over the hand like that. I don't know that I'm a big fan of this, because I feel like the putties never really had this type of effect when punching anything, you know? Like, I feel like, if anything, Rangers should have this type of effect. It just seems kind of odd to give this effect to a putty, in my opinion. But you could use it for a Ranger. There's nothing saying that you can't, so at least, you know, that's one nice thing. But the effect piece that does make sense is this, and this is a really cool piece right here. So this goes around the putty in this kind of translucent purplish color, and then the front is like this metallic blue. It's kind of got this slight glitter effect to it. It actually looks really, really cool. It's a gorgeous blue. So that's really, really neat. And so basically this just very easily just kind of, you know, pulls right over and done. Just like that. Just sits right on top, so you can like have a Ranger, you know, like headbutting or doing whatever, and psh, he's exploding right there. So that's a really, really cool effect piece. I like that a lot. I think it, you know, fits the putty very well. So as far as the rest of it, you know, up close real quick, very, very, you know, basic with the putties. There's not much to these figures in terms of detail here, so it pretty much is what it is. Articulation wise, you know, of course the head is going to be able to rotate all the way around. Arms rotate. There's a swivel there. This whole part, rotates around, double joint the elbow, and then this whole piece right here rotates because it is detachable as well. Then the chest piece, of course, you do have good range of motion there, and it does twist all the way around. You can bring the feet apart and forward. This whole piece rotates, double joint at the knee, and then the entire boot rotates, and then you have the foot swivel as well as up and down movement. So pretty standard articulation. You got all the bells and whistles that you would want or need. So there you go. There's the Z Putty. All right, on to Dino Thunder Red. Here he is. Yeah, Dino Thunder. So again, as I was kind of alluding to in the packaging, pretty solid figure overall, but the one thing that's kind of hindering the Ranger figure is the helmet not being accurate. It's amazing how much they can mess up helmets sometimes, when I feel like the helmets are some of the most iconic parts of the suits, really. They actually mess it up with the Green Ranger too, so that's kind of frustrating. But if they would have just had that white border there, we would be in business. But it's just kind of, because the white border is supposed to make it look a bit more pronounced, you know? Like, whereas this, the silver kind of blends in a little, and it just looks a little odd, in my opinion. So that is unfortunate. Taking an up close look, again, you know, you can see the helmet. I do like the gold that they used for the symbol there. You know, the rest seems fine. The only other thing that is a little odd is the diamond pattern goes down here, and you don't see one under the morpher, so it, you know, looks slightly off, but I guess they just didn't want to paint underneath it. The morpher is just completely red, which is fine. That's one of those things that I would accept, just because of, I don't expect them to paint every little detail. It would be cool, but you know, for the price point, it being totally red, I think is fine. And yeah, overall pretty solid. Pretty much the same articulation as the Putty, so I don't really know that there's much more for me to showcase with that, you know, just so you can kind of see for yourself all the poses and things that you can do with it. And except for, you know, the Putty had the full arm that could rotate. Now, obviously, this does not have the arm. You have the hand that is detachable and can, you know, be modified. So there's that. Here's the civilian head right here for Connor, which is, in my opinion, terrible. I will say they're very hit or miss with these civilian heads. I think sometimes they really do a great job, and then sometimes you look at it, you're like, who in the world is that? That does not look like Connor, in my opinion. You know, so that's kind of a bummer. If you do want to see what he may look like with the head on, I'll just kind of pop that on just to show you. There it is right there. So, yeah, you know, yeah. I mean, there's not really much more I can say. I wish it would be better, but it's not. So there you go. So what else do you get? The two hands right there are like hands to hold weapons and things, so you do have those. And then you have an alternate right hand that has a kind of a wider grip to it. And then you have an alternate left hand, which has got like a couple fingers curled in, you know, kind of doing a little pose like that. So there you have that. Of course, you have your, I think this is what, the Thundermax Blaster, I believe it's called. So it doesn't have the full, you know, paint on here, but they got the basics, and so, you know, it looks all right. There it is right there. And then the saber. Again, it looks all right. And this can go in the holster like so. So there's that. And then, of course, you do also have the effect piece right here, which is like these flames, which looks pretty sweet. So you can basically kind of have it poking through the saber like that. So you can hold the saber with the cool flame effect, which is really sweet. And then last but not least, we have the Tyranno Staff. This is really long, super cool. There's no movement of anything, like this piece does not move or do anything. It's just one solid piece. But he can, of course, hold the Tyranno Staff and, you know, pose with it or do whatever you want. So that is cool. I'm glad that they did include that accessory. All right, and last but not least, we have Mighty Morphin Green right here. I was excited about this figure because I was like, I feel like, you know, we're finally getting the regular Mighty Morphin Green in the accurate colors and everything. But there's actually one thing that they messed up on. I will say in this case, it doesn't look too bad, but it is inaccurate, and that's just, it's just frustrating, Hasbro. Come on, little things. So, what it is look at the helmet. Excuse me. Around the visor, it's supposed to be white with like silver teeth, but instead they just put the entire thing as silver. Now, in some cases, you may be like, well, that's a cost-cutting, you know, measure. They want to save on costs or whatever. But check out the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger. Look, white border, silver teeth. So they can get it right on the Fighting Spirit one, but not on the regular release. And it's not like you can swap heads, because the whole big thing about the Fighting Spirit Green Ranger is he had the silver stripe. So you're kind of screwed there in terms of the helmets. Yeah, and if you were wondering, if you have the Lord Draken figure with the shattered helmets, this one also has the inaccurate, you know, just full silver, no white border around it. So you can't really swap that either. And of course it has, you know, damage on it too. So that's not really going to work for this Ranger. So, you know, there's that. But putting the two side by side, you can obviously see some of the other changes that were made that are supposed to be more show accurate, such as the gold power morpher there, whereas the Fighting Spirit one had the regular one. And then also you have the actual black holster on this side here compared to the white one on that side. So, you know, couple changes done. They actually also, and I don't know if this is just my figure, or if they actually intentionally improved it, but if you look at the shield, they made this a slightly darker golder polish to the shield, which I actually really like because it matches the armbands a little bit more, and I really like the way that looks. It's got a nice shine to it. I mean, this one was not bad either. I thought it was pretty good, but I think it's even better. So I don't know if I just got, you know, unlucky with this one and they are slightly darker gold ones of this or not, or there are lighter gold ones of this and I got lucky here, or if they actually made a conscious improvement. But I did want to note that because that is one difference between the Fighting Spirit Green and the regular Green Ranger release. But otherwise, you know, so there's that. Again, that's the one thing about the helmet's kind of annoying, but the rest is pretty standard fanfare. You do have your Dragon Dagger as well, which, you know, not really different from the Fighting Spirit release. Pretty standard there. You can slide that in. You do get your Sword of Darkness as well. So there it is right there. And then as far as hands, you have the two, you know, grabby hands for the weapons, but then you also have a left fist, and then a right hand like he's playing the Dragon Dagger, so you can pose it like that. You do also get this cool light green effects piece, so of course you can just kind of slide this, you know, right through, or however you want to do it. There you go. And last but not least, if you are annoyed by the helmet, here's one thing that can fix that problem when you're displaying it, and that is you attach the civilian head. So here's the new civilian head. So remember I said how they're hit or miss? I think this one is a hit. I think this actually looks really good. Having also, you know, rewatched Mighty Morphin Season 1 a few months ago, this definitely is really nicely done. I like the green bandana on the head there. Like, that's super cool. Yeah, I'm really glad we got another hairstyle here for Tommy. We got something new, and the green just like matches, you know, the Ranger figure that much better as well. So that is super cool. I really like this look for the figure here. So yeah, there you go. That is awesome. As far as articulation goes, of course, it's going to be the same as the other figures, except the dragon shield is in the way a little bit, so you're not going to be able to do a full rotation of the arm necessarily, but you still get the rest of the movements, the double joint at the elbows and knees, the, you know, rotating joints, this whole boot does rotate, the full other range of motion that you would expect for the Lightning Collection figures. So let's pop that off and put the helmet back on just for consistency's sake here. And that's going to wrap up the review of Wave 7. So I apologize again for the very, very long delay in unboxing and reviewing these figures, but hopefully you enjoyed this review, and this is just the beginning of me catching up on Lightning Collection, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed, because I have a lot of Lightning Collection reviews on the way. We're going to have a lot of fun with it, so if you're excited about this, let me know in the comment section below as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you later.